No one really talks about the stage where you feel ready to step up, but the opportunity's not there. Whether it means you're looking for your first job, looking for that specific rotation, or looking to step up in your banding at work. This is such a random limbo state to be in at times. Currently, myself, I'm in this limbo state. I'm in the state where I've completed all of my core rotations. I've started to take on what are considered more senior duties in regards to being a preceptor or having done my student educator training, participating in things along those lines, having been an educator, a supervisor before, getting on board with secondments, etc. Things along those lines that will make me a good candidate to be seen as a senior physiotherapist. And unfortunately, as we know, with the way things are looking, it's very hard to get a job and hard to step up at this point in time, which I'm finding is putting me in this state of professional frustration. When I say professional frustration, I don't mean frustration with my job. I absolutely love being a physiotherapist and what it allows me to do. I'm just in professional frustration in the sense of frustration with the fact that jobs, as you guys are probably feeling as well, that jobs aren't coming out when you want them to come out. Professional frustration in some of you guys' cases may be that you finished your degree, you were hoping that it would be easier to get a job, and right now you're professionally frustrated because you're seeing all these things come out about how there's not that many jobs for the amount of people that have come out of university. And I find myself in a similar state of professional frustration in regards to I feel like I'm doing what I should be doing and some. And I feel like I'm classed, I would say, out of the fives that are remaining in my group, I would class myself as one of the senior five just based off the rotations, how many rotations I've completed and the experiences that I have, which is a great thing to say. But it is frustrating, and I know it's hard not to talk about the NHS hiring freeze because it really is impacting things. And what I mean by this is I feel like for those of us that are currently working, it's frustrating because like myself, you feel ready for that next step, but this opportunity is not arising. Or there are opportunities rising, but anytime you go for them, you're not having that much success. And it does get really annoying because you think to yourself, how long am I going to be in this state that I'm currently in? Do I stay and stick it out, or do I pursue other options? Now, I don't think I'm at the point myself necessarily where I'm considering, do I pursue other options in regards to something like say drastic of do I pursue a whole different career because this one's just stagnant right now, or do I pursue a different speciality? For me right now, I'm at the point of, oh, this is frustrating. Okay, I'll do another rotation, cool. Maybe I'll do one more other rotation after that, but please get me out of this rut that I'm currently in, this level of frustration that I'm currently facing. Now, as I touched on general healthcare careers, I feel like with healthcare careers, it's like, yes, you have that normal trajectory that people tend to go through in terms of you feel like you have those competencies for every rotation, same thing like you did when you were training. You had your competencies as a student, and if you had ticked those boxes, then you were classed as not necessarily a greater student, but you felt like you were becoming more autonomous. I know for myself, when I was training, when I hit certain competencies as I went along through all of my placements, by the last 2 to 3 placements, I was definitely completely autonomous. I would obviously have my first week of getting to know where I was and getting to have a good feel of my surroundings, but then at that point I was autonomous. And I feel like that's something that you feel similar when you're training as well and you're a band 5 physiotherapist, because you have those competencies in each speciality, whether it means I want to be on-call competent or whether it's I have to be competent enough to highlight and identify said red flags or treat said patients. And once you tick those things off, like you tick off your preceptorship and you've ticked all of that off, you're like, okay, so what's next? And it's a little harder because everybody's what's next is very different. Everybody's pacing is very different. And it's frustrating when you feel like you're there and it's just not happening. Things are very unpredictable right now. You don't know whether, okay, someone's leaving, does that mean they're going to open up a position, or are finances a little too tight that positions aren't going out and we're all going to just have to take on the additional pressure? These are all things that are getting a little bit right now. But the ways I'm dealing with this stage right now, and I've got some suggestions for you guys as well, depending on what stage you're at. So for those of you that are at the stage of you're looking for jobs, and I understand it's very draining, I'm there with you when it comes to looking jobs, and you feel like you're constantly applying for things, and either you're not hearing anything or you're reaching interview stage and then you just miss that one little thing. It's easier said than done, but don't let it get you down. In the meantime, try and build your CV, whether that means part-time work, volunteering work. For those of you who, let's say, aren't a band 5 yet, volunteering work, try and get maybe a job as a TI, something along those lines to get your foot in the door. As for people at my stage, what I'm currently doing, because I feel like I'm ready to step up to be a senior, classed as a senior in title, is, yes, I've agreed to be a preceptor, so that means I take on some duties that someone of a higher banding would typically take on. I'm making sure I'm getting myself involved in any activities, whether that be workshops to work with local schools, or whether that be the opportunity to work on some service development. I'm trying to focus on throwing myself in a bit more, to get a bit more interactive with what I'm doing for the CSP side of stuff as a CSP steward. And I would say also get yourself involved in some in-service training as well. Anything that when they ask you that question in your next interview of what skills make you suitable for this role, you have a list of things to say versus having to pick only 2 things and go in depth. I was reeling off in my last interview to them about all the things that I've done at this point in time. If you find yourself at this stage like myself where you feel like you're ready for the next step but the opportunity is not arising, just know you're not alone. Your girl's going through it with you and we'll get through this together. In next week's video, be sure to check it out. I'm going to reflect on the interview feedback that I've received and how I'm going to use it to go forward and hopefully get to that next step. Bye guys.